I gave this company everything, my time, my sleep, my soul. I thought my boss, Linda, was my mentor, but she was actually my predator. She stole my life's work, so I decided to end her career in front of everyone. I remember the late nights in the office, when the AC was the only sound in the room. I was 22, hungry, and I believed in the American dream. I worked for a high-end marketing firm in Chicago. Linda was the creative director. She was elegant, sharp, and she promised to take me to the top. "You're like a daughter to me, Sarah," she would say, patting my hand while I showed her the campaign I'd stayed up 48 hours to finish. I believed her. Every time she took my files into the executive meetings, I felt proud. I didn't mind that my name wasn't on the cover yet. She told me my time would come. But then, the red flags started appearing. I noticed her whispering to the CEO, "Mr. Sterling." Whenever I walked into the room, the silence was heavy. I saw my designs on her monitor, but my watermark, the tiny digital signature I hide in every file, was gone. I didn't want to believe it. I thought maybe it was a mistake. I thought she was just polished. But then came the Apex project. This was the big one. A $10 million account. I spent months building the strategy, the visuals, the soul of the project. I handed the final drive to Linda on a Tuesday. "This is your promotion, Sarah," she whispered, her eyes cold despite the smile. "Once Sterling sees this, you're the junior partner." The next morning, I walked into the break room. The TV was on, and there she was. Linda, standing next to Mr. Sterling. She was presenting my work, my words, my vision. And she was saying, "I spent months on this. I poured my heart into this vision." I felt the blood drain from my face. My hands, they were shaking. I looked at her through the glass office door, and she didn't even look away. She just smirked. That was the moment. The soft girl died, and the woman who wanted justice was born. I spent that night on the floor of my apartment, crying until my eyes were swollen shut. The betrayal, it felt like a physical weight on my chest. I thought I was part of a team. I thought hard work mattered. But Linda had already filed the paperwork. She was officially announced as the lead, and she received a $500,000 bonus. She didn't even thank me. In fact, she called me into her office the next day. "Sarah, I think you're burned out," she said, looking at her perfectly manicured nails. "The Apex project was a bit too much for you. I think it's best if you move to the filing department." She was burying me. She was making sure I was too low in the company to ever speak up. She thought I was a scared little girl who would just say, "Yes, ma'am." But Linda forgot one thing. I am a child of the digital age. I knew where the bodies were buried. I started looking into her past projects. I found more stolen work. I found she hadn't had an original thought in 10 years. She was a professional thief, and I was her latest victim. The emotional peak hit when I saw her at the company gala, wearing a dress that cost more than my car, bought with the bonus money from my work. She walked past me and whispered, "Don't look so sad, honey. Some of us are just born to lead, and others are born to serve." That was it. The turning point. I didn't cry this time. I smiled. Because I knew the annual Innovation Summit was in 3 days. The biggest names in the industry would be there. The cameras would be rolling. And I had the master key to the presentation server. The night of the summit, the ballroom was filled with gold and light. Linda was on stage, the spotlight following her every move. She started the presentation, the same slides I had built. "Innovation requires sacrifice," she began, her voice confident and smooth. I was in the back, behind the tech curtain. My heart was pounding, but my hand was steady on the laptop. I waited until the final slide, the one where she usually put her name in giant gold letters. I hit enter. The screen didn't show her name. Instead, it flickered. A video started playing. It was a screen recording of my computer, dated 3 months ago. It showed the creation of every design, every word, every pixel. And in the corner, a live timestamp, proving I had finished it while she was at a spa in Malibu. The room went silent. Then, the audio played. It was a recording I made in her office. "Sarah, I think you're burned out. Some of us are born to lead, others are born to serve." Linda froze. Her face went from pale to gray. She looked like a ghost under the stage lights. Mr. Sterling stood up. The cameras, they didn't stop. They zoomed in on her shame. I walked out from behind the curtain. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just walked to the microphone, looked her in the eye, and said, "Linda, you forgot to mention, your lead designer is also your whistleblower." The fallout was instant. She was fired that night. The board of directors sued her for the return of the bonus. Her reputation, her career, everything she had built on the backs of others, was gone in 60 seconds. I didn't stay to watch her cry. I walked out into the cool Chicago air. I didn't have a job, but for the first time in years, I had my pride. I realized that my revenge was simply the truth. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, don't stay silent. The truth is your most powerful weapon. Like this video if you believe in justice, and subscribe so you never miss another story of revenge.